Leah, and this is your encouragement of the week. I want to talk about a Bible story of this student named David, and you guys have probably heard the story David and Goliath. Well, let's fast forward and look at his life as a young adult, as a young man. Now this guy, he was like a great influential leader, but he didn't just wake up and bam, become that. You see, it took time and time of just honoring his leader and just working hard at his job. So he worked in the palace. He had the harp. It's kind of like a guitar. He would go and play songs for this leader named Saul. And Saul was like another powerful leader. I mean, tons of people just like looked up to him at one point, and they just thought he was like the best. He thought he was the best. And Saul started to realize that a lot of people were admiring David more than him. And so people would write songs about David. As he's like walking in the streets, they'd be like, oh, that's Dave, yeah, Dave. And so on Twitter, he probably had like 20 million followers. Maybe not that much, but a lot. And as Saul got jealous, he actually attempted to try and kill him. And this was freaky for David, of course. He's like, okay, I gotta get out of here. And Saul is this leader of all Israel. That's like a whole country. And, you know, David, at one point, as a young boy, as a young kid, was told that he would someday be in charge of Israel too. And David kept that, and he held tight to that. And the fact that God told him when he was young, you will someday be in charge of Israel, David didn't let go of that. I'm sure David would have questioned, God, where are you? You see, he had these moments, and I'm sure he probably thought, I don't understand how I can have this future job, God. I'm kind of hiding. You see, David was on the run. It was almost like he was a fugitive. There was all over wanted signs of David. There was thousands of people after him. As Saul grew his army, he just kept getting people from all over saying, guys, join my army. Let's go hunt down David. And so here's David, this young man, hiding in a cave. He's on the run. He's lonely. He's by himself. Have you ever felt so lonely by yourself? Have you ever felt like you're in a dark situation where, you know, there's not really anyone that you can really relate to? Well, here's this part of David's life where he started to grow this crew of people. Like, I'm talking like a group of men followed him and was like, yo, we're David, we're on your side, we're gonna help you out. But guess who these people are? Guess what their style is like? Okay, some of these guys were guys that dealt with anger. Some of them are running from the law. It says in the Bible, like, actually read it, this is crazy. It says that some of them were in trouble with debt, so they're not that good with money. And this is actually who David was in charge of. 400 men that were there with him. And you see, before David could be a leader of a whole country, David had to practice this out with a couple hundred. And you know, through these moments and times of David being on the run, God was teaching him a lot about leadership and good character and how to work well with people that are maybe not the easiest people to work with. The story goes on that after all these different times of David on the run, he'd go here and Saul would come and he'd go here, and then he's living here. It's craziness. Saul actually ends up being in one of the caves that David was at. And David's men are there. They're kind of hidden in the dark shadows out in the back. And then they notice that Saul was in the same cave. And they whisper to David and they say, David, now's your chance. Why don't you kill Saul? God said that you would someday be the king. This is your moment. This is your chance. Take out Saul. And here's the thing. Dave was a man of honor. He knew that, guys, I'm not going to fast track what God said. You know, you look at David, man, I look up to him so much. He's someone that, you know, he didn't want to just make things happen for the sake of them happening. He didn't want to promote himself. You know, he actually said back to them, guys, stop talking foolishly. Like, I'm gonna wait on God's timing. And so, yeah, you look at those times and those experiences in the cave. That's where David learned so many valuable things. And in the same way, maybe you're looking at a situation that's so hard and you don't understand and you're thinking, God, like, where are you in this? Could it be that God's actually training you for something in the future, and He's growing good character through those moments? The last thing I want to talk about before I finish up is David's BFF. So he had a best friend who he was so tight with. This is Jonathan. Get this, here's the ultimate twist. Jonathan was actually Saul's son. So the guy that's chasing David, his enemy, he's actually best friends with Jonathan. He grew up with him, and they just shared each other's like life together and was always there for him. And check out what Jonathan says in 1 Samuel 23, verse 16 and 17. But Jonathan went to see David, and God helped him encourage David. Don't be afraid, Jonathan said. My father Saul will never get his hands on you. In fact, you're going to be the next king of Israel, and I will be your highest official. I will be your closest worker. He's saying, like, I'm going to be there right with you, and I got your back. And have you ever just had a time and a moment where you needed that encouragement? You felt so down and so blue. You're like, what do I do? Well, oh, it kind of rhymed. You know, Jonathan was there to be that good, loyal friend. You see, sometimes we can have people all around us that are there in the successful times and in like the highest moments, things are going really good. But who are your true friends? Who's there even when it's hard? My prayer is that someone would encourage you today, and maybe you just be someone that you work with. Maybe it's someone you barely know. They send you an email. My prayer is that someone would be there to just encourage you today. And not only that, maybe you're not like a David, you could be like a Jonathan. You could actually be someone to encourage someone else in their situation. You could bring hope. So as I finish, let me just recap. Before you get these great, amazing things, sometimes you have to walk through the caves. Sometimes it's hard and it's tough, but through those moments you can grow good character. So thanks so much for listening, and more stuff to come in the future. Yeah, keep it real.